It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Your mind is racing through calculations. If I work until 67 and Social Security pays maybe $2,000 a month and healthcare costs keep rising, sound familiar? Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say out loud. Most Americans in their 40s are sleepwalking into financial stress that will define the next 40 years of their lives. And the crazy part? The decisions you make this decade, right now in your 40s, are literally determining whether you'll spend your 60s, 70s, and 80s comfortable and free or stressed and struggling. I'm not here to sell you some get-rich-quick scheme or tell you to eat ramen for 10 years. I'm here to show you why your 40s are the financial make-or-break decade of your entire life and what actually separates people who retire comfortably from those who can't retire at all. Let's talk about why this decade matters more than you think. Section 1. The math that changes everything. Here's something wild that most people don't realize. A dollar saved at 40 is worth about 3 times more than a dollar saved at 50. Not because of some magic trick, but because of compound interest and time. Let me break this down with real numbers. If you're 40 years old and you invest $500 a month until you're 65, that's 25 years, at a 7% average return, you'll have about $400,000. Not bad, right? But here's where it gets interesting. If you wait until you're 50 to start that same $500 monthly investment, you only end up with about $130,000. Same monthly amount. You just started 10 years later, you lost $270,000 because of that delay. That's not just money. That's the difference between retiring at 65 and working until 72. That's the difference between taking your grandkids on vacation and saying, we can't afford it right now when you're 70. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. According to the Federal Reserve, the median retirement savings for Americans in their 40s is around $45,000. For a household, that's not a typo. Most people in their 40s have less saved for retirement than the cost of a decent used car. But wait, it gets worse. The average American spends about 20 years in retirement. If you retire at 65 and live to 85, which is pretty normal now, you need to fund 2 decades of life without a paycheck. And let's be real, Social Security pays the average person about $1,900 a month. Try living on that in 2026. Your 40s are when the math still works in your favor. You've got 15 to 25 years until retirement. That's enough time for compound growth to actually matter. Wait until your 50s, and you're basically trying to catch a train that's already leaving the station. Section 2. Why your 40s are different. So why specifically your 40s? Why not your 30s or 50s? In your 30s, you're probably still getting your career established, maybe dealing with young kids, possibly buying your first house. You're building. Your income might still be climbing. It's hard to save aggressively when you're still figuring everything out. In your 50s, the clock is ticking too fast. You can still make changes, but you're playing catch-up. Every mistake costs more. Every year you delay is exponentially more expensive. Your 40s are the Goldilocks zone. Here's why. 1. Your income is usually at or approaching its peak. You've got experience. You've probably climbed a few rungs on the career ladder. You're earning more than you ever have. 2. Your expenses might actually start going down. If you have kids, they're getting more independent. You're not paying for daycare anymore. Your house payment is the same, but your income has grown. You've got breathing room. 3. You still have time. Not unlimited time, but enough that small, consistent actions compound into massive results. But here's what most people do instead. They see that extra income and they upgrade their life. Bigger house, nicer car, more expensive vacations. They keep pace with their income instead of getting ahead of it. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's the silent killer of retirement security. I saw this with my own neighbors. Nice couple, both 45. Combined income probably $180,000. New BMW in the driveway. Pool in the backyard. Huge renovation last year. On the surface, they look successful. But when we were talking at a barbecue, the husband mentioned they're stressed because they've only got about $60,000 saved for retirement, and their financial advisor said they need at least $1.5 million to maintain their lifestyle. They're spending their peak earning years looking rich instead of building wealth. And the devastating part is they won't realize the mistake until it's too late to fix it. Section 3. The 3 decisions that matter. Okay, so if your 40s are so critical, what actually matters? Let me give you the 3 decisions that separate comfortable retirement from financial stress. Decision number 1, how much you save right now, not next year, not when you get that promotion, now. Here's the simple truth. If you're in your 40s, you should be saving at least 15 to 20% of your gross income for retirement. If you're behind, make it 25%. I know that sounds impossible. I can't afford to save 20%. But here's the question. Can you afford not to? Because the alternative is working into your 70s or living on $2,000 a month in Social Security, and start with your 401k. If your company matches, you're leaving free money on the table by not maxing that out. In 2026, you can contribute $23,000 to your 401k. And if you're over 50, you get catch-up contributions. Use them. Then look at a Roth IRA. You can put in $7,000 a year or $8,000 if you're 50 plus. That money grows tax-free forever. When you're 70 and taking that money out, you pay 0 taxes on it. That's huge. Decision number 2, what you do about debt. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Every dollar you spend on debt is a dollar that can't compound for your future. That car payment, that credit card balance, even that mortgage, they're all stealing from future you. I'm not saying pay off your 2.5% mortgage early, but if you're carrying $15,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest, that's an emergency. That's costing you $3,300 a year in interest alone. Money that could be growing instead of shrinking. Your 40s need to be the decade you eliminate high-interest debt completely, not next decade, this one. Because every year you wait, you're compounding in the wrong direction. Decision number 3, how you handle healthcare planning. This one sneaks up on people. Healthcare is probably going to be your biggest expense in retirement. The average couple retiring at 65 will spend about $315,000 on healthcare throughout retirement. That's separate from everything else. If your employer offers an HSA, health savings account, and you're on a high-deductible health plan, this is one of the most powerful retirement tools you have. You contribute pre-tax money, it grows tax-free, and if you use it for medical expenses, you withdraw it tax-free. It's triple tax advantage. Max this out every year if you can. And here's a strategy most people miss. Pay your current medical bills out of pocket if you can, and let your HSA grow untouched. Save your receipts. You can reimburse yourself for those medical expenses decades later, tax-free. It becomes a stealth retirement account. Section 4, the lifestyle reality check. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You can't save your way to retirement if you're spending everything you make. Here's a framework I want you to think about. The 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income for needs. Housing, food, utilities, insurance. 30% for wants. Dining out, entertainment, hobbies. 20% for savings and debt repayment. Most Americans in their 40s are doing something like 60-35-5. They're overspending on lifestyle and underinvesting in their future. Here's my challenge to you. Track every dollar you spend for 1 month, not to judge yourself, just to know. You cannot fix what you cannot see. Most people have no idea where their money actually goes. Then ask yourself, is this expense bringing me closer to the retirement I want or further from it? Not every expense has to pass that test. You're allowed to enjoy life, but some expenses need to pass that test. That daily $6 coffee? Over a year, that's $2,190. Invested at 7% for 20 years? That's $9,000. Is that coffee worth $9,000 to future you? Maybe it is. Maybe that's your joy, and it's worth it. But make it a choice, not a default. The people who retire comfortably aren't the ones who made the most money. They're the ones who kept their lifestyle in check while their income grew. They created a gap between earning and spending, and they invested that gap relentlessly. Look, here's the bottom line. Your 40s are when you still have enough time for math to work in your favor, but you don't have time to waste. Every year you delay is exponentially more expensive. Every dollar you don't invest is working against you instead of for you. The difference between comfortable retirement and stressed retirement isn't usually one big decision. It's 100 small ones, made consistently over this one critical decade. You've got maybe 15 to 20 years until retirement. What you do with them right now will determine whether you spend your 70s traveling and enjoying grandkids, or whether you're stressed about money every single month. Your 40s aren't just another decade, they're the decade that decides everything. So what are you going to do about it? The clock's ticking, but you still have time. Make it count.